Have you ever done this with your Tacoma? If you have done that in your Tacoma, I don't blame you. I did it myself. And if you've done it without running the mod that I'm gonna show you in this video, well then you ran the risk of ruining your rear differential before you even know it. So today I'm gonna run over a super simple mod that I think is a necessity if you do any off-roading and run the possibility of hitting any high water crossings. And that is a modification to your rear differential breather. So the rear differential has two main purposes. The first purpose is to translate power from your drive shaft to your wheels. And the second purpose is to prevent binding when your wheels spin at two different speeds. Now knowing the purposes to your rear diff, if you didn't already know, you can kind of see why a breather might be important to not let water inside of it. Your Tacoma comes with a breather on it already, however it's just a nipple on top of the diff, and it runs the risk of taking on water if you hit a high water crossing, and that could completely ruin your diff, like mentioned earlier. And if you didn't know, now you know. Let's dive into the install. For this modification, these are the tools you're gonna need, and these are the parts you're gonna need. First step to this is to remove the driver's side tail light, which will be this 10mm bolt and this bottom 10mm bolt. Now that those are removed, we should just be able to pull the tail light straight back and it'll come off. Now that that's off of there, I'm going to let mine sit right here. You do not have to unplug this, but you can if it makes you feel more comfortable for the plugs and the cords. So we removed the tail light and now we're ready to prep our breather that's going to go into the diff. You can use your fuel line at this point. However, I'm not going to put this on this breather yet. I'm only going to wrap this in the Teflon tape and get it prepped to install. So you need your Teflon tape, you need your breather. Just like that. The next step is to remove your stock breather. To do that, you'll need a 14mm wrench, crawl underneath your truck, remove your spare and jack up your truck if you need to and you don't have the space. However, I like to do things the hard way, so I'm just going to jump under here and try to do this. Important note, you need to clean off around the breather before you remove it so you don't get any dirt and debris inside that hole after you get it out of there. Now that that stock breather is removed, we're going to take our new prepped one, put it right inside. Important note, you do not need to over torque. You will break something if you try to torque it too much. You can see I just kind of went hand tight on it. That will be plenty. If you followed what I did earlier and you didn't attach your fuel line to your breather before you attached your breather to your diff, now's the time you're going to do that. I have my fuel line prepped with my clamp on it, and I'm going to slide it right on and then tighten this clamp on that breather, and then I can start feeding it through. So we have our fuel line attached. I did not pre-cut this fuel line because I want plenty of slack where I get it where I need it to go. And now I'm going to start feeding this up through the rear, through this C-channel on the frame. It'll give plenty of clearance above the axle and plenty of slack for when this axle jumps up and down while I'm off-roading. To show you exactly where this is ran, you can see it coming off the rear diff right there, ran over this bracket that's on the spare tire, ran through the frame right through that oval hole behind the shock support, down the frame. I have it secured right here through that hole, and then straight up to that hole that I mentioned earlier behind the tail light. And it pops out right here. And then we're going to secure it to that hole that has nothing in it right there with the cable strap. So my actual camera died while I was filming this part, but it's pretty simple. So you have a hole that's already here. You do not need to drill anything. You take your cable clamp, run your bolt through, nut on this side, bolt right here, both 12 millimeter, at least mine were. So you tighten that up around your hose, and that's all good to go. Add your breather to the top and your clamp right there. That's all nice and tight. Do not over tighten anything. You do not want to ruin this hose. So let's go through the entire thing and I'll show you exactly how it's routed. So there's directions for this all over the internet. They're pretty easy to find, but I haven't found anyone that showed exactly how they did it and how they routed their fuel line through here. So that was kind of my goal, was to show you exactly how I did it and how you can do it without any questions, or at least little questions. So coming off here, we see it coming off the rear diff. I fed it over all these lines so it didn't get caught on anything. It goes over this bracket that's connected to the spare tire, through the frame, out this oval hole that's already provided behind the rear shock tower, straight down. I use this hole for some extra support. Comes through and then feeds straight up to that hole behind the tail light. So now there's plenty of support and there's plenty of slack for when this axle moves up and down when you're off-roading. So we've went step by step. Now the last thing we got to do is pop this tail light back on, put the screws in, and we're ready to roll. Just like that, your tail light's hooked up, your breather's ready to go, and you're ready to go hit those high water crossings without the worry of getting water in your rear diff. If you're still with me, I want to say thank you for watching this video. Thank you for sticking along to the very end. Let me know if you do this mod in the comments below. I hope this video helps with your routing and everything of your fuel line. And I also want to mention this was the first video that I filmed with my professional camera. So some of the settings were off, the lighting was a little off, the sound was a little off. So I'm going to get those settings dialed in, and hopefully from here on out my videos continue to improve in quality and I can keep putting out this content for you. Now if you want to see something particular, a particular part install, a particular mod, whatever you want to see, if you want to see more fishing videos like I make or more shooting videos, I'll see what I can do, but I just want to continue making as much content as I can in the speed that I can make it, and hopefully continue building a nice following of us DGens here. Thanks.